Hello, I'm Rebecca Weber. You're listening to AMAC's podcast, Better for America. Censorship has been so prevalent of late, and here at AMAC, we feel it too. To ensure that others see the Better for America podcast just like you, be sure to like and subscribe to our Rumble channel. Now, today's guest, Chief Warrant Officer Michael Carmichael, was born in Helena, Montana, and his parents supported him in his decision to join the Montana National Guard at age 17. He studied engineering until ground operations began in support of Operation Desert Storm in 1991. He served in 10 combat deployments from September 01 through August of 2014. He has had a long and successful 22-year career in the U.S. Special Forces from May 1998 through December 2015 when he retired. Today, Michael Carmichael is the president, CEO, and founder of Check a Vet and is dedicated to making Check a Vet a national leader to bring awareness to veteran suicide prevention. We're thrilled to have him with us today. Michael, welcome to Better for America.
Thank you so much for having me, Rebecca. It's an honor to be here.
First, Chief, I want to thank you for your service to our country. It's heroes like you that keep us free. And you joined the military at the young age of 17. You served in the U.S. Special Forces for 22 years. What drove you to serve at such a young age, and what has been the most rewarding part of your lifetime of service?
I followed my best friends into the Montana National Guard. We were juniors in high school. And so from the beginning, it was just about being with like-minded people and great Americans like myself who at that time were joining the military in a peacetime situation, but wanted to do our part. And from there, throughout 26 years of Army service, to me, it was always about being with the men and women in the military and doing what I could to, my small part to help keep America safe.
Our top military leaders, it seems that they're not getting that message. And here at AMAC, our members are speaking loud and clear. We see numbers declining, the number of people that are enrolling. What do you see needs to be done specifically in order to encourage more young people to recognize the great opportunity and also understand the sacrifices that so many people like yourself have made for this nation to keep us free?
I think the first thing we need to do is squash, all of the internal issues that the DoD is having. Go back to a PR campaign of unit discipline, and all of the voices are equal. When I joined, one of the first things my drill sergeant said is, we're black, white, and, Hispanic, but in the military, we're all green. We're just different shades of green. So set aside all the social issues. We all have a Twitter account or a Facebook page. That's your opportunity if you're in the DoD to, show your support for a community. But when you're in the uniform, it's important that you represent that unit above, and the United States, above anything else. And that's where our focus needs to be.
Very well said. Now, you founded Check a Vet in 2021, and you did this to prevent veteran suicide. Can you tell us the story of what inspired you to found this organization?
Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. When I got out, to put it into context, I like to think that I had the faith and confidence in my commanders and the men that I was so humbly afforded the opportunity to lead. So, but as I got out, I really lost my sense of identity because I was no longer in that formation. I lost my sense of purpose because I was no longer, in the meetings, making decisions and really shaping the future. But those are things that we hear talked about a lot in the speech around veterans and veteran suicide, loss of identity and loss of purpose. But I think one of the most important things is members of the service are members of a team right up to the point where they get out. So by starting Check a Vet, I really wanted to surround veterans with a team, a base of support at the grassroots that involves neighbors, friends, family members, and coworkers. And that's get back on a team. And in this case, 2/3 of your viewers are somebody with veterans in their lives. That's actually the targeted demographic of Check That. Put these veterans on your team and also educate yourself on the subtle signs and symptoms, risk and protective factors of veteran suicide.
Very interesting. I know so many other organizations do try to address this issue, and I think that you've got a great approach here. Less than 1% of American adults serve in our military, and that's a number, I think, Mike, that most people are not aware of. Many families don't personally know an active duty service member or a veteran. What's one action that every American can take to get to know a veteran, and how can we support them?
I think the most important thing is even if it's somebody that is already in their life, they have to be interested in their service. What did they do? Where did they go? Learning about the stories and the struggles and the victories that these men and women had gone through their service. This really has the tendency to make a veteran feel comfortable in sharing and think that they're talking to a trusted agent and somebody who actually cares about them and their issues.
There are so many veterans who are committing suicide. I don't think people understand the real numbers. Can you shed some light on what the real numbers really look like and specifically what you're doing?
So to start out, if you Google how many veterans have ended their life by suicide since 9/11, what you're going to find is the number 30,177. So not only is that dated in the middle of this study, it was caveated that these are only 9/11 era veterans. So that's our men and women who joined after 9/11 started. It doesn't affect the members who were already in, nor does it affect the veterans who were already out at that time. So I looked and looked for a number that the VA had published. And after about 18 months of looking, I found the number buried in an appendix. The number itself isn't listed, but all of the years are listed. And when you add up the number in that spreadsheet, what you get is 127,560. Like, are you kidding me? Why isn't that in their executive summary? If I'm in charge of something, the first thing I'm going to do is define my problem. Well, there are lots of issues with the VA's number, aside from it not being published. There was a study by the American Warrior Partnership, a nonprofit, and what they found through Operation Deep Dive was the VA's numbers are actually underreported by a factor of 2.4. And they got to this by looking over 8 states, 5 years, and they contracted out Duke University and the University of Alabama to collect the data and to analyze it. So by looking at small communities, counties, states, collectively, they found that 2.4 was a conservative underreporting of that number. So we just went from 30,177 to 127,560, all the way up to 308,000. So where is the number? And let's keep in the front of our minds, one is one too many. So it's time we finally did something. And thank you and Better America for having me on and giving me this opportunity to raise awareness to the problem.
Well, you're doing really a wonderful thing. And we know that military recruiting, as I've mentioned before, is so low at this time, especially over the last handful of years. And recent reports came out that even military families are discouraging their children from joining. Before we let you go, if there's one message that you can leave to a young person who may be considering volunteering and joining our great U.S. military, what advice might you give to them?
Look for the service that's right for you. And I think all of the services are really missing it with regards to softening standards and a kinder, gentler training process. I think that, the more challenging services, like right now, the best service for recruiting is the Marine Corps. Learn from that. The Marine Corps is the hardest one to be in and get through. But for our young men and women, understand that the silent majority in the military are just that. And these are an amazing group of people, and you'll have the opportunity to do amazing things around the world. And not only to protect the United States of America, but also you'll have the opportunity to protect and learn from the men and women at your sides.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. And we appreciate your commitment and your support of our great veterans for bringing more awareness to veteran suicide and prevention. And our prayer here at AMAC is that we see more competent, common sense leadership. Chief Carmichael, thank you so much for joining us today for the sacrifices that you've made for our great nation. And we commend your life of patriotism. Wish you the very best. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and please go to checkavet.org and look at our message and see how it's actually affecting our veterans' lives.
Excellent. Thank you.